I have to find a whole music upgrade situation. This is what we're working with right now.
I want to dance more, but my neck, I hurt my neck. Robotic dancing. There we go.
This is more the evening vibe. I haven't put together a playlist of the morning vibe yet. Is it loud?
I can't hear it at all now. Just hear your
You,
voice.
oh, yeah. When I stop screen sharing, it comes off. They're just things that I have to figure out. So I haven't figured out yet.
All work in progress.
Okay. Well, good morning.
Good
Thanks for
morning.
joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in pain.
Yeah. How come? What happened?
Should I tell the people? Our toddler Kai challenged me to do a front flip on our trampoline, which I normally do with ease, but my neck was like wasn't holding on to my head, and I got like whiplash. It was really scary. Like I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was like, oh my God, am I paralyzed? I don't know if that's something to laugh at, but
Yeah.
oh God, it was so scary. So nothing happened bones, I don't think, but my muscles in my neck are like,
Mm. Mm.
so yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
everything, as anything physical manifests, there's always energetic
Mm-hmm.
significance behind it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like
another
me,
opening, another lesson.
like me splashing scalding butter on my hand yesterday too.
We really had a day.
We had a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Sometimes it'd be like,
It do be like that sometimes. All right.
it's
Well,
true.
I only have you for a little bit, so
Yeah, I gotta run to a client session right at 10:30.
yeah. Thanks for joining me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how I'm looking to, well, first of all, Tuesday was so much fun, and Tuesday there's a little bit more space. Thursday mornings on the stream, I'm going to be focusing a bit more on, maybe having a little bit more of a structured teaching, having guests. I mean, I'll still have guests on Tuesdays as well, but part of how I'm starting into that is just going to go through different keys and take a look at the different shadows and try to create some cool teachings and conversations around how we all interface with these shadows, these experiences in our lives. It doesn't matter whether or not you have them in your chart. And I thought it would be really amazing having you here with me this morning because I'm starting at the beginning, starting with key one. And I even pulled up your chart here too.
Cool.
So
Full
it's
permission
right
to show
full
them all.
full permission. Oh wait, hold on. I got to get the vibey beats back on now that I'm sharing again because people really crave that. Is it too loud?
I don't know if I like it generally.
To me, it just adds a little ambiance.
Okay.
Makes it
And if we just have to
less
do a
just
music overhaul, we'll just do that.
yeah. But for right now, we're gonna talk about, you know, 6 months from now, the funny music that I started with. Yeah. So I'm starting with the first key, and entropy is a funny word,
Just lower it a
and
little bit. It's too loud. I can't
it's
really hear
too
you.
loud. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I can barely even hear it in my own headphones. How's that better? Should I just cut it?
Just lower it. I don't know. My brain is very musical, so it's very hard for me to focus on.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
I
we'll
don't really
just
do background music.
okay, we'll just cut it. We'll just cut it.
You can make it really low, maybe, and then I'll be fine.
Okay. How's that better?
That's much better. It's not that I
Okay.
don't do background music. It's just when it's has so many funny things involved.
Yeah.
I don't know. making
I
me
never
think.
thought that I'd be somebody who would be playing lo-fi hip hop beats to study, relax, and chill to.
Ah, okay.
Literally, I never ever was that person. Um,
All
I
right, let's.
I kind of took pride in just not being that person, but
I think it's cool to be that person too. All right,
you know,
let's get
okay.
into it. I don't have that much time.
So yeah, so beauty, this key, first key. Entropy is a funny word, and it's a word. There are some words in the keys that somebody who's just, I don't know, living their life, may not necessarily associate with the word entropy too much. It's not like a common word that we're using conversationally, like something like impatience, or you see immaturity there. And and so I find that with this key, I've always found with this key that there is, when the word is a little bit less familiar, there's almost an invitation to lean in a little bit more because you might find like a secret or something new about something it's like something that's been sitting there on the shelf, but you haven't really picked it up and looked at it too much. Oftentimes, when I speak about this key and I talk about entropy, I'll immediately try to translate into welcoming people to explore their relationship with numbness or boredom, because those can be qualities of like what we experience internally that surrounds that experience of entropy. But I'm curious for you to even just talk about in your own experience, because I don't even have this key in my chart, and because it's such a
Mhm.
prominent one for you. Like, what does entropy mean to you? Or,
I was just looking up the definition of entropy, and obviously there's, with the keys, it's not so much about like the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, so much as it is the frequency that the word is holding, like the energy that the word is holding. But I was curious also, like, how is entropy actually defined?
yeah,
A measure of randomness, disorder, or energy dispersal within a system. This is okay, that was clear to me, but this next part is interesting. It also represents the amount of thermal energy that is unavailable to do useful work. So like random heat that is disorganized or not able to be organized to it's not conducive to anything. And so the numbness that you're talking about for me, to me, and in my experience with this key, the numbness or the like feeling like you're in like a vacuum is the symptom of an experience of like this entropic like disorder of excess disorganized energy that is just like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the experience. So that's like the
yeah,
it's almost
yeah,
like the like that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen it?
yeah, yeah. I think we saw it together.
It's just like everything is happening all at once and it's like too much for the system to take. So it's just like
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah. It's funny. I mean, I knew this word and worked with it more commonly because I studied chemical engineering. Like taking thermodynamics was
Right.
like part of that journey, and it's entropy is like one of the laws of thermodynamics, and a way that entropy is spoken of is there's this like law that entropy can only increase. And entropy is that state of like disorder and state of disorganization. And so that law in thermodynamics basically speaks to kind of a bleak, pessimistic view of the future. That's like
Hmm.
the universe is just going to continue to swell in disorganization, swell in entropy until the eventual heat death of the universe. And it was a funny experience in college where you're like learning that law to be able to understand like microscopic systems heat exchangers, for example, like radiators or just things that transmit heat, like chemical reactors. But when you start to think about it in this cosmic level, it's like, well, that's a bummer, And
People really
so,
live there. Like people live in this worldview of like everything's going to shit and like the world is just expanding in entropic. The expansion is happening within like entropy. It's just like going to be more entropy.
so
Um,
tell me about how people then with that, because I think it's a cool lens to look at this through. Tell me how people then deal with that ensuing numbness that comes on, like that ensuing feeling of like, I don't really know what to do with all of this
mhm.
disorganized energy that is buzzing, and I don't really know how to be with that. Tell me about your
Yeah,
own experience with that and how
totally.
you interpret that.
Well, for me, I approach a lot of these types of things through a very somatic lens, a very nervous system oriented lens. And it's cool with the keys because what I've found in being your partner and in, just being in the field of this is that the shadow states of each key are also correlated to a stress response in the nervous system. So the stress response correlated with entropy would be like a freeze or dissociative response, which is a branch within the freeze response.
Yeah.
And a really good thing to talk about heat and thermal dynamics is to actually like heat up the body and like awaken from the like that like I'm floating back into the vacuum, into the void, which is like the style or the flavor and numbness that the entropy sort of brings about, and to actually like bring ourselves back and heat up the body and then get really simple, because again entropy is like the everything everywhere happening all at once, is to get so dialed in, is like let's focus on the spot in our body that feels really nice to notice. Like, can we just notice that there's like, oh, like there's heat in my belly right now? Can I rest in there? Like, okay. Can I notice what it's like to feel the skin of my hands on my arm? Can I notice what it's like to like acknowledge my bones? Okay, that's like a more internal thing. A more external thing is like, can I notice how many shades of green are on that tree right now? And really focus on those details, because that pulls us back into the relational field with ourselves and with the world. And
Yeah.
there's like a sharpening and a clarity that can bring us out of that like entropic numbness and back into being engaged with life and what's
Yeah.
happening right here, right now, which is cool because that is sort of like that's freshness to me. Freshness is like the ability to see things, relate with things, see self, relate with self in a totally new, fresh way that pulls us out of that entropic numbness, like disorder, like blah, into, oh, wow, like may I can't, my neck. Ah, maybe I can relate with this moment in time in this totally fresh new way and actually be inspired by what is here and what I do notice.
Yeah.
I have it in
Yeah.
my evolution. And so I know for me, like I evolve by completely reimagining I just wrote about this if anyone's like watching who is on my newsletter. I like for me, I evolve by literally reimagining my identities whenever I get too comfortable in one. Like by reimagining what space in my home could look like or be, what the land could look like or be. It's a very inspired gift frequency. And
Yeah.
if there's too much stagnation or things aren't really freshening themselves, I'll get pulled into that entropic sort of frequency field. It feels
Yeah.
like stagnant water, and then
Yeah.
there's just like a swirling inside of that stagnation, or like an
Yeah.
overgrowth of bacteria or algae. Like that's like, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. In my own experience, that evolution, it's how we evolve ourselves, but it's also how we help other people to evolve. And
Yes.
I've had the both blessing and the let's call it the initiation of living beside you in this, because it's it's like it's such a creative. There's so much creative power and creative potential in this key.
That's
You know,
key
it's
number one
all
is
it's key number
creation.
one. It's all yang. It's the big bang. It's the
Right.
something from nothing, and that buildup of that, that intensity and our ability to be with whatever that noise is rumbling beneath, and bring that extra presence actually allows for that to emerge in a way that isn't like when you look. I always find that when you look at the expressions of the shadow and the names that are given, like the repressive and reactive, it gives another lens, because the repressive expression of entropy is depressive. It's like you're
Right.
depressing any of the noise and the busyness. You're kind of like stuffing it away and holding it down. And then the reactive is frenetic. You're trying to just like shake it off, like
Yeah.
get it out, like,
Or like do
and
everything. Like
do everything, start this thing, start that thing, start this thing, because there's so much that creative energy. But it's like if it's not held with that presence, and is reacted to, in one way or another, trying to like suffocate it or try to just get rid of it, it's like all yang. It's like fire. It can burn.
Right.
It
And
can
actually,
create a forest fire. Look at the what we're experiencing in the Hudson Valley right now. It's like,
yeah, having crazy smoke, air pollution from fires in Canada. But so that's actually what you're saying is also another part of what you asked before of how do you deal with that like numbness.
yeah.
It might not be a practice. Well, the heating up is also like the heating up that I'm talking about is also a way to access the repressed yang, because repressed fire puts us in a freeze state too.
Yeah.
Underneath freeze, there's always activated energy that wants to move out. So maybe it is like a blah. I'm not going to do too crazy because my neck, but if you know me, if you've worked with me, I can be very expressive. And that's part of it. The expression is part of like actually mobilizing the yang energy, because when it has nowhere to go and it has no outlet and it can't travel through your vessel, which is your technology, your transmission technology for energy. If it can't travel through, it's just going to kind of get swallowed up inside of you. And then you'll feel numb and dissociated. And again, to get that face and sound. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious of how you've experienced, just the power of this. And because, I'll keep talking about this. You've got to go in a few minutes. So I'd just love for you to really get into that space of sharing your own experience with freshness and also beauty. Because I feel like every time you speak about this and you speak about the beauty aspect, it really, it opens such a powerful reflection of your own experience with that word as it pertains to that process of life, of nature, of like creating infinite freshness, infinite newness, infinite new experience, and how you as kind of a carrier of that, and how you literally help life itself to evolve. What do you want to say about that?
When I tune into beauty, it's such a divine experience for me. It's like I wish your background music would go to like a chorus of angels or something, because when we're able to like with freshness relate with and perceive something in a completely new way, we're allowing for our awareness to to have some sort of chance, which is impossible, at encapsulating God for just like a little moment, but it's impossible also to encapsulate it. But in our freshness, in that opening within us, fresh eyes, fresh perspective, fresh connection, there's an opening to encapsulate a miracle.
Hmm.
And beauty to me is on the physical plane, is the attempt to encapsulate God or the divine. And this is where you see, I'm talking about the superficial or physical level of beauty right now. You'll
Hmm.
see like temples, robust, beautiful temples with like etchings and carvings. And it's like that's the attempt to encapsulate God in this
Yeah.
building, in this structure. So that's just the physical dimension. But there's an experience beyond that of like let that vessel of the temple be the physical structure to attempt to encapsulate God. But what happens within us when we're able to open ourselves? And it really is like, for me it's a full body opening, but it is predominantly like the heart of like, can I can I dare to fathom like the sheer miracle of this moment or of this sunset or of my child or of my partner or of this tree or of this like incense
Mm.
stick? Like
Hmm.
that's beauty to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you showed me this song by Justin Bieber,
Oh yeah.
Everything Hallelujah.
Shout out JB,
Shout out JB.
friend of the stream.
Like the sun is out, hallelujah. It's beautiful, hallelujah. And he goes to like Haley, babe, hallelujah. His like his wife, and then his child, baby Jack, hallelujah. Like that to me, it's like hallelujah. Like everything that we're experiencing is
Hmm.
this like is
Hmm.
this expression of God. Even the things that are
Hmm.
so painful, even the things like it's just so amazing. So that to me is beauty.
I knew
Beauty.
you were gonna enjoy that song because I totally feel that same, because I've witnessed you sometimes where you go into this trance like state where you're just like, really in that, and that song
To
speaks it
behold
to
the
behold.
divine. It's truly, it's to
Yeah.
behold the divine. And why I say it's a heart opening, because I'm just like, oh my God, like there actually needs to be a seal on my heart to not be open to it all the time, because I
Hmm.
might cycle right back into entropy if I'm open
Yeah.
to it all the time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just like it's so vast and so beautiful. I have chills as I'm tuning into it. It's
Yeah.
so gorgeous. And like we can only really take that in drips. It's like a
Mm.
slow IV drip. And it has to,
Yeah.
because like there are moments you feel like you're going to shatter into like light, like light particles, and just like that's the experience.
You know, this you're about to need to head out. The last thing, and I'll say, and I know that you could
7 minutes. Okay.
speak. You
Thank you.
okay? Well, maybe you'll have a comment on this, but I often think about this key and the entropy and this whole journey through that lens of what's happening with children these days and the overstimulation, and just that sense of like there's too much of this false or just weird infusion of freshness that it's like kids don't know how to be bored
Right. And
anymore because and that
they can't
boredom is
find
something to be
freshness.
for boredom is something to be eliminated. It's like let's fill up that space, and really that's just like the parents' inability to actually just be with that entropy within themselves. And so witnessing it come on in their child beckons this, like, oh, I need to
Fill
make a
this,
funny face or give them the iPad or just like
entertain,
entertain
fill
really
the space.
quickly. Yet this is blocking ultimately
It
the
robs
creative
them.
channel.
Exactly. Completely. Yeah. Totally, totally. And it's so heartbreaking. It really is so heartbreaking. Because yeah, it totally like it's that is that function of this overstimulation is a thief to the
Thief.
natural the organic expression of creativity that would arise inside of a child who is literally in that innocent state, already hooked up to freshness, already hooked up to beauty, already hooked up to like it's it's just yeah, it's really sad. And this is kind of where we this is getting a little more like meta within the keys, because to me there's like a shadow state of entropy and also like a beautiful state of entropy, which is
Mm-hmm.
what I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about, that like, oh my God, I'm just consumed by God. There's also a shadow state of, there's a beautiful state of freshness and a shadow state of freshness. Freshness is what the shadow state is, what you're talking about. More. I mean, we do this to ourselves. I need more, like I do this. I know that I have this in my shadow. I need another thing. It needs to improve. More stimulation for the child, another iPad, another toy, another thing. Like that is shadow freshness. That is like trying to renew too much that you can't even see what you have. And
Yeah.
then you have a shadow expression of beauty, which we see all the time in the world. Beauty standards, ways that people, particularly women in the society, but everyone, will adhere to standards of false beauty, which are actually anti nature and anti evolution. The like, the like, what did I hear? The cult of the forever maiden.
Mm.
Like that's what most women adhered to beauty standards are programmed to buy into, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Freeze your age, freeze time. Like that's not beauty. That's the opposite of beauty. Sorry to
Mm-hmm.
anyone watching who does that. It's just true. I did it
Mm-hmm.
too for a period of time in my life. But it's an attempt. All of those images of beauty are still in a beauty. I'm saying that are an attempt to try to encapsulate um, a distorted version of connection with God. Ultimately,
Yeah.
we think that by doing this and fixing, we're going to be connected to love, to desire. Like that all comes from a shadow state. So anyway, I hope I didn't go too much off a tangent, but
Oh, it's great. How
like
beautiful the
true,
leaves are when
true
they're
beauty.
dying.
Totally. Like how gorgeous a woman is who's weathered and like has wisdom etched into her skin, into her hair, into her knit. Like, oh, I at first was freaked out by my farm hands. I don't know if you can really see, but like I was like permanent etching of like dirt and stuff. I don't know if it's permanent. Probably if I stopped for a couple weeks it would go away. But at first I was like, oh my God, am I gonna have these hands forever? And then I was like, I love this.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the tattoo of life. Like
Mm-hmm.
let my vessel be used and be in service to life and like build it and like and massage it and cultivate it and like how much more beautiful. That's
Inked by
amazing.
life. Inked by life.
Think by
It's
life.
so great. Yeah. I could talk with you for hours about this.
Yeah, I
And
gotta go,
I
but
really appreciate you hopping on. And yeah, she'll be back.
I'll be back.
I think. I hope.
I can't help it. Kind of live with you.
It's so good. It's really amazing. I mean, this is just
It's cool also because this actually has us even be in conversation in ways that we might not normally be. Like it gives us like it's nice for
yeah.
our relationship too.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. Yeah. Or the occasional like late night couch conversation that just where we do give ourselves permission to go there.
Right.
But
Now we get to share it.
yeah. All right. Now you're all super charged up
Everything
on your freshness.
hallelujah.
So let's see what comes in as you get ready to go and facilitate
Beautiful
now.
hallelujah. Everything hallelujah. Oh,
Honestly, you'd probably have so many more people show up if I'm just like, she's just gonna sing for an hour. I'm not gonna talk. She's just gonna sing. I guarantee there'd be 100 people in here
oh,
or more.
okay. Next time.
All
All
right.
right, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
KT out. Well, that was fun. That was very fun. Um, yeah, what else do I want to say about this? Mm, You know, um, there's one of my favorite lines across the entire Keys. I've all of the talks that I've heard that Richard has ever given that has jumped out to me in the way that he talks about this, the way that he talks about beauty and freshness and entropy. It's so funny. The first time he said it, it hit me with such a deep, like, belly laugh when he said it. And it stuck with me so deeply, and it's become a deep way in how I even orient with my own creativity and what I'm putting out there, what I'm creating. It was a big part of my journey in creating Flight School. And he says something on the order of, he's like, do you think that when a name or an idea comes to me about, some course or some book that I'm going to write or offer, that I have any idea what it's going to be? It's like, I have no idea. It's like so pure the way that he says it. I have no idea. And there was someone who I spoke with, an old friend long ago, about branding. And ideas were coming to me, and this person, he was like, oh, the brand comes last. Like, the logo comes last. And I was like, no, it has to come first. Because it's the seed. It contains everything. And that's the way that it happened with Flight School. And Flight School landed in. It was in that moment of being with that entropy, being with that, sort of empty, void, boredom space, that it just, boom, the freshness appeared of this name. And, for anybody who's seen some of my branding, was like, I saw this like falcon image, like a design of this like falcon image, and I was like, that's it. And you'd not believe the amount of time that I've spent literally just staring at that symbol or that name, sitting in that entropy and just welcoming whatever the idea is, on how it wants to be developed, how it wants to grow, how it wants to emerge and expand, for that to just come to me through that space. So much so now that I really look at symbols and logos and branding as their entire wormholes. You look at the name of something and it contains everything. Look at your name. Your name carries such power. You're literally uttering and vocalizing. You're vibrating, sending vibrations of who you are called. And every time, as much as I have like soul architect and all that, ultimately Patrick is, nothing could ever do more than Patrick. I'm pretty sure Patrick.com is taken. And, there's something to, moving and shaking and carving, identities and costumes that help to invoke a certain quality. So Soul Architect, for example, is, which I was completely shocked when I tried out on Instagram years ago, that that the combination of those two, that even was available. I was like, what? And so because it was available, I went with it. But that's taken me on a whole journey. Who is soul architect? What does that mean? What is soul architecture? I mean, it really opened up a whole new creative journey for me of coaxing out this name for what I really use as not as something to distract people away from me, but as something to give presence to my own way of perceiving my medicine bag. And it has a life of its own because it has a name. And so I can tend to that and support that and nurture that journey of freshness of that flower blossoming and opening and taking me into territory of creative newness. And here we are in the stream. You know, this is another expression of that keeps opening. I love this key. I love beauty. I mean, sometimes I forget a little bit because 64, I've always thought that 64 is a very interesting number. 64 is an interesting number because it is small enough that it doesn't feel like if it was like 130, you'd be like, it's like just big enough that you're like, that requires commitment. And it's not too small where you're like, well, I just need to look at these 7 things and then I'm done. I mean, there are ways within the keys to play with the geometries and distill it down into 8. 64 is 8 times 8. And maybe I'll do a whole class one day talking about the hexagrams and the elements that make up the 64 and where the number 64 comes from. I don't really want to get into all that right now, but this is where when my chat is full and somebody's like, no, can you please talk about this? And I'm like, okay, I'll get into that. But you know, this key, it's like pure fire. It's like the Promethean fire. It's to give permission to that like ever creative, brightening, expansive fire that lives inside of all of us. And if you've ever created fire in your life, especially with a tool like a friction tool, there's so much effort that goes into that. And really, like if you think about the friction bow and working and building a fire, it's sort of like our way of being able to be with that entropy. There's so much potential energy that is being built up into that space where the spindle is moving on that other piece of wood. And by staying with it, it's like the entropy, it's not a void. The entropy is motion, but it's motion, it's like an internal motion that can feel intense, that's vibrating, that's preparing to burst into something, to forge or create something new. But it's like if you've ever created fire that way or ever watched it, it's like it's intense on the muscles. It requires a lot of presence to hold the pose and to work it. And then you have that little coal, that little ember that's created. And then you hold that like this extraordinary, precious thing. And then you place it in some dry grass and so this key it's like pure pure yang energy, and it's in many ways it's pure fire. Even though the elements aren't fire, it's like pure fire. It's actually elementally, this key is, it's 3 yang lines over 3 yang lines, which is heaven over heaven. And there's a friend of mine that can speak a little bit more into that, and maybe will come on someday and join me and talk about that lens of the I Ching a little bit more. But all to say, like, our ability to really be with that energy, if we can think of ourselves as that spindle, and God or life or source is just working us. And when we try to like jump out of that energy, frenetically, like, let me just, this is too intense, let me get out of it. It's like the spindle falling over. And then, God or life's hands like pick it back up. It's like, let's put this back on. The opposite expression of that entropy would be the depressive expression, the repressive, depressive expression, where that spindle just doesn't want to move. It's like, it's not twisting at all. And so how do we allow ourselves to have that bow, life's bow, really just work us, and we feel that heat? We don't really know what's happening yet, because it just seems like we're kind of just getting moved and spun and thrust around a little bit. But our ability to be with that, it's like, oh, we're starting to feel that heat, and that's starting to create the ember. Oh, and oh wow, we have an ember here. Boom, a name, like flight school, a name, like an idea, horses, like whatever it is. It's like those creative, fresh ideas then drop in, and then you take that ember, you put it into the dry grass of some ecosystem, some environment, some space that's ready to receive that, and then you have a new fire. And what does the fire do? We can cook on it. We can bring people around the fire to be nurtured, to be warmed. The fire is the hearth. So I find with this key, there's a big invitation around take heart during the moments of boredom, the moments of feeling inner intensity, so much so that maybe it can make you feel a little bit numb. It's as Richard welcomes, it's go into that numbness. Oh, hey, Ana. Hola, mi hermana. Hermanita. Welcome to the stream. Bienvenidos. I'm surfing within my head how much I could actually speak in a one-way direction with you in Spanish here. But yeah, so I always look at, whenever I see this key in somebody's chart, I always consider it in the lens of like extraordinary creative potential, and where our own patterns get in the way of that coming through. Kéren, for example, in this chart that we're looking at being hers, like her evolution sphere, she's an extraordinary creative. And I've felt through being in partnership with her the fires of that beauty, the fires of that freshness. I mean, for anybody who's known us, the horses, like, look across our land and our lives, and there are so many. I could go and paint back an entire timeline. If I had a whole whiteboard, I'd be like, boom, freshness, boom, freshness, boom, freshness. Here were these like epochs that were in many ways initiated by her, and those impulses coming through, and the ways that those impulses would work me deeply, like burn within me deeply the experience of reckoning with like what do we mean we're getting like horses started with two, then three, then four, and then the sheep and the ducks and the chickens, and now we have a horse barn. All this, it's so much creation. Exactly, it's like that is her gift. And as she also came on and spoke earlier, she's also reckoned in her life with moments of where that freneticism took over, where the freshness became a shadow expression, where it was like, an avoidant tactic as well. Constantly, like almost an addiction to something new, something new, something new, to take me out of the discomfort of that like numbness, the entropy, that what is. And watching her in her journey over these years, like work with that and calibrate in that, and then still coming back to it, even in the more shadowy types of unconscious expressions of that, how still it brought newness into our lives, into our relationship. And so now, as I've learned to dance with fire a little bit more, you want to learn how to dance with fire, you better be prepared to get burned. Get your ass burned a little bit. Yeah. But a new reorientation of like how to sit with that myself. And I have found absolutely that has been a huge, huge impact in how I'm able to sit and be with our son, because a child is bursting with creative potential in every single moment. He's just like taking everything in real time immediacy, and like songs and movements and the way he moves his body and looks around, and how he'll pick something like a little Allen wrench up and it will become something else. And then also really respecting and holding space sometimes for those moments where nothing is happening, and that there is a little bit of that boredom. And I can see him kind of just like almost like reckoning a bit with how to relate with that boredom, and holding myself back from being tempted to just be like, oh well, let's play this thing, let's go do this thing, let's shove this thing in front of you, let's do that, because that thwarts a very important process taking place inside him, of him being able to be with that boredom, be with that kind of absence of something, and then find within him potentially where he's just like rolling around, and then he picks up this thing, and he's looking at it, and then it becomes like a magic wand. Because if you don't give him the opportunity to just like swim in that boredom, this would never become a magic wand. Yeah. Yeah. So important for kids to be bored. So important for us to be bored too. And I speak that also from a space, I'd say that life is really full on for me and for us these days. And finding in the balance of feeding all the mouths and parenting and running the farm and building the business, and as a creative and putting my stuff out there, it takes a lot of effort, that it can be really tempting some nights where it's just been full on to just just like be there. I don't shame myself for it, because sometimes I feel like I am connected to a study process. Sometimes I feel like it's okay to give myself permission to just like resource in that way. But there are some times that I just put everything down. I just sit. I did that the other day. It was so nice. Just like sat. No music, no conversation, not napping, no like cleaning up or picking things up, no phone, just literally just like sitting. I don't do enough of that nearly, but I felt what it did for me afterwards. And again, it's not meditating. It's not like sitting in the posture or anything like that, because even that can sometimes be another act of doing, another act of filling up a space that gets rid of a boredom. I have this real craving, and Anna, if you're still here, you might be interested to hear this. You've probably heard about the silent darkness retreats. That there's like wait lists for years to go to some of these places, where you go into a cabin or something like that, and it's all dark, and you're there for, some are like 24 hours, others are like a week. I don't really know too much more than that, but it's like completely eliminating the stimulation of all the busyness of the world for you to actually just be with yourself and be really intense and really profoundly psychedelic for people. And I want to create in the woods here, I want to create a little casita that is that would have like a special kind of like two-door system for somebody to come in and like place in this like kind of black box food. Would have to figure out plumbing, but I would imagine that there's some way to creatively do that, and I feel called to explore that space. I think that that is going to be one of the most profound medicines in the world of our time, because there's the noise has permeated our everyday reality at such a level of depth, so much so that people are literally implanting chips. Casita del aburrimiento. Yeah, at such a level of depth that people are literally implanting chips into their bodies, and it's like you'll never turn off. And what happens to us when we lose our ability to consciously embrace the absence of stimulation and boredom. You can see it pervasively across every tendril, across economy, across sexuality, across education, across entertainment, everything. Filling up the gap, get me from one thing in front of my face to the next. And all of that is an extraordinary avoidance of the pain and the discomfort that lives underneath all of that. And then that gets sent on, perpetuated on into the children. I remember I was deplaning one time, in that moment where you're standing in the aisle and you're waiting for everybody ahead of you to go. And there was this man holding his son, who was probably like 2. And it was really just so sad. It was like, some of the saddest experiences that I've had as a parent have emerged through going into the airport and seeing how other parents are with their kids. Because the airport is like, if you want to study the human species, I think the airport is probably one of the most revealing spaces to do so, because everybody is kind of put into this space where their their anxiety and fear response is on at some level because of the intensity that is naturally there of having to go through this intense like threat screening process where everybody is assumed a threat unless proven not a threat, which inherently activates that like fight or flight, you know, reptilian brainstem when you enter into that space. And you factor on top of that the confined space, the busyness, the urgency of needing to get someplace in time, the carrying of your belongings, getting ready to go and thrust yourself into this metal tube that's going to be flying through the air. There's just such a hurting process that takes place that it's intense enough for a human as an individual that when you start to factor in the parenting process into that, it's like it is zero surprise that most parents will be like, okay, just shove the iPad in front of their face. And this kid was 2 years old. You know, we're standing there on the plane. The guy's like right behind us, and he's holding his kid, and his kid just has this like huge iPad. It's like a big one with like a bubble gum, you know, rubber thing around it, light all the way turned up, and it's just playing the baby shark song. See you later, Anna. Love seeing you. Come back anytime. Just playing the baby shark song and this like animated video of that. It was so loud, and the kid's face is just like, his mouth is open, he's just like, and it's like, and the father's also just like, nobody's home. Nobody's home. None of what I'm sharing is anything that is shocking or so out of the ordinary to us these days, sadly. But it's like that. That's what we're talking about here. It's like the inability to sit with the boredom of the natural ebbs and flows of life. Oh, we're getting off a plane. We have to stand here for 15 minutes until we start moving in discomfort. And that tendency to be like, something like that. So, and how that blocks us from being in relationship with beauty, the beauty of the world, and to find the freshness before our eyes. There's like an Aldous Huxley quote from the book Doors of Perception, where he speaks into an LSD journey, where he says something along the lines of like found himself getting lost in infinity in the rolls of the folds of corduroy on his pants. And sometimes I will do this. Sometimes I'll pick up something like a lighter, and I'll just like really stare. Like, huh. much do we relate with things in life in that way? Or just look at something like that and be like, that's a waste of time. The productivity, the bent of like the addiction to productivity and filling every single moment with productivity is like the antithesis of beauty. Like how beautiful flowers are that we experience part of the year without them. Our wildflowers, we plant a huge wildflower patch every year right in front of the bees. It's I call it the bee buffet. There are like thousands of wildflower seeds in this big long patch, and they're just starting to kind of really open up now with the sunflowers and the blue cornflowers, every shade. And every year when this starts to happen, it's like, oh, wow. And we rob ourselves from that wow when we try to like plasticize a life experience where that flower never dies. As Kéren was talking about, it's like you try to just like only ever be stimulated with that. Okay. Well, this was fun. I am going to write a newsletter, and I'm gonna go pick up my son from the farm where he hangs out a couple days a week with his friends. And then hopefully we're gonna have the rest of our horse barn installed. Right now it's like it's there, the roof is up, and it's in the process of coming together. And hopefully between today and tomorrow they're gonna finish like bolting everything together so we can start using it, which is exciting. And Kai's new play castle, which you can follow on Instagram if you want to see photos of that, because that's a cool one. Facebook Marketplace. Talk about finding something from nothing. Kéren Tayar and Facebook Marketplace are a hell of a team. Oh yeah, never know what she's gonna find next. All right, wishing you a beautiful weekend. I'll be back Tuesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll get more into some charts again, and take care. Peace out.